You don't know that we withdrew from Afghanistan?
I know we withdrew. I don't know whether the withdrawal will increase the risk from al-Qaeda or not. The job of the Justice Department and the job of the FBI is to protect against those kind of attacks in the homeland.
Does it make sense that that would be a dynamic of our withdrawal? Do you trust the Taliban?
All right, that was just one of the many tense exchanges during Attorney General Merrick Garland's congressional testimony yesterday. His testimony coming after U.S. intelligence warned that ISIS-K in Afghanistan could attack our country within 6 months. Joining us now is, for reaction, former New York Congressman and former Marine and combat veteran Michael Grimm. Congressman, thank you for your service, and thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
You know, Senator Graham made headlines yesterday by asking a question that many thought would be for the Defense Department, but maybe not necessarily for the DOJ. However, is this a high concern? ISIS-K, imminent attacks, and how safe are we here in the homeland?
It's absolutely a concern. I mean, I can go back to when 9/11 happened. As an agent, we all responded and were on the pile, right alongside the FDNY, the NYPD, and that investigation took place right here in the United States. So yes, a plot can be formed and supported overseas, but they eventually will come here, continue. They will gather what they need, including the experience, like in that case, they learned how to fly. All of these different aspects of a terrorist plot come together right here in our homeland, and then obviously they will attempt to kill Americans here at home. And a large part of that investigation will be done right here in the United States. So it's very relevant, it's very real, and unfortunately, we're not nearly as prepared as we should be for it.
You know, one of the things that we continue to mention here, we still have up to 450 stranded Americans in Afghanistan following that botched withdrawal. I'm going to play this for you. This is Secretary of State Antony Blinken recently speaking about this exit. Here's that.
We can and should ask, could we have done things differently? Could we have taken that step differently? Should we have tried that idea first? Could we have gotten to that decision more quickly? We learned a lot in a short period of time. We learned it the hard way. We learned by doing.
13 U.S. service members are dead, several injured. Who should be held accountable, in your opinion?
The Commander-in-Chief, period, end of story. There's a few points I need to make on this, because for me, I have a very visceral reaction. You know, before I was ever even in the FBI, I was a combat veteran in the Middle East. To think that a lot of people have been saying that the President of the United States has a diminished capacity, his mind is gone, and that's why he really had this strategic catastrophe. It was a catastrophe. We abandoned Afghanistan. But the truth is, if you will go back, when he was a senator, all the way back in 1976, long before his mind was failing, not that he was ever sharp or very, very intelligent, he was always a vapid leader at best. But even back then, the way he pulled out of Vietnam is exactly what he did right here. He knew what he was doing, and he didn't care. We have members of Congress, Senator Tom Cotton, my colleague that I serve with in the House, I actually serve with both of them in the House, but Mark Wayne Mullen, they did more to get Americans out than the Commander-in-Chief did. That's a disgrace. It's despicable. And I think this will go down. We will look back someday in history and look at the foreign policy of the Biden administration, not only as a failure, but it will be known for this, that we put America last and we put Americans last.
Do you think the American people are seeing that? You see the poll numbers clearly not in the president's favor. They continue to decline. Do you account that to the withdrawal in Afghanistan?
Absolutely. I think every single American was affected one way or another by this war. Even if you are anti-war, you're far on the left, you had a neighbor who had a son that didn't come home, a father that didn't come home, a wife who lost her legs. The impact of this protracted war was enormous on all of Americans. And I think that just the visuals of seeing how many we left behind. And then you hear things from inside the State Department that the administration's lying about how many they abandoned, how many are left there. And they're not just abandoned and forgotten. They're left for whom knows whom, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, to take as hostages.
It's a sad situation there, and that continues to make headlines. Before you go, though, I've got about a minute left for you. I want to ask you about something about New York here. This is a headline just coming out, New York Times. Letitia James preparing an announcement on run for governor. According to the New York Times, again, the former state attorney general will formally announce her run for governor. It may happen today. Many before this headline expected Letitia James to run for governor. What does this say about the direction of New York and also the investigation into Governor Cuomo? Were there politics behind that, in your opinion?
There's always politics behind it. I think it's larger than Letitia James and New York. What I have seen all the way back from when I was an FBI agent, that politics pervades our justice system, and that unfortunately a prosecutor's office is a springboard to running for office. And why is that inherently a problem? Why? Because you have prosecutors that are overzealous and just want the headline. They can find out halfway through their investigation that someone actually didn't do it. They're not guilty, but they're so far down that rabbit hole and did so much press, which is another inherent problem, how prosecutors coordinate with the press on a regular basis, that now they can't have an embarrassment or they'll never be able to run for office. So they will put innocent people in jail. They will continue to investigate when there's no there there, just because it helps their political future in the future.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.